Top of the fourth inning, Ball State. Old Dominion scoreless here in the top of the fourth. Pleased to be joined by a special guest, Old Dominion head football coach Ricky Rahne. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful day here at the Bud, so had to take my son out and catch us. We're in the baby blues today, which is awesome. Love that.
We've seen you at baseball, basketball, lacrosse, tennis. We've seen just about everywhere. Why is it important for you to go watch some of these other Old Dominion teams play?
Well, one, I just love sports, so I like checking all those things out. That's part of it. Some of it's selfish on that end, but other thing, if we want support in the community, as a football team, then we need to support the community as well. So I just like to get out there. I know how hard these other teams and other coaches work. So
Decker Scheffler leads things off here for Ball State in the top of the fourth. Takes a ball from Ryan Moore. Coach, I know you played football at Cornell. Did you play any other sports in high school?
I ran track. I played baseball my whole life. I was a good fielder. I wasn't a great hitter, so that doesn't make it very much fun, So, and I couldn't pitch because I played quarterback. It's a totally different motion. So, it was one of those things where when I got to high school, I played basketball and I also ran track. So that's what I did there.
Okay. Decker Scheffler pops up to Tommy Bell at short to bring up Aaron Simpson, the center fielder. Simpson batting 184 on the season. Did get a base hit off of Moore in the second. Coach, you started Springs ball about 2 weeks ago. You just finished as Simpson gets hit in the backside to take first base. This finished your second week of spring ball. What are your thoughts on spring practice so far?
We're doing some good things. Obviously, had hit our sixth practice. If you look at our sixth practice in the fall compared to our sixth practice now, we look like two totally different teams, in a positive way. So excited about that. So, no intent there on that pitch. I think the slider just got away from him a little bit.
Nick Pantos hit a couple batters yesterday. Pantos in 2019 led the country in hit batters, as that's going to be called a swing on Cole. Looked like a hit and run. And Simpson will steal second for Ball State. Coach, you've been here. It's hard to believe you've been here a little over a year now. What is your relationship with some of the other coaches on the Old Dominion staff?
I've got a good relationship, Vinny, and, obviously I've got a good relationship with him. Actually, a couple assistants, Mike Marin and stuff on baseball. And obviously, Jeff Jones has, been awesome to me and those sort of things. But it's been hard. It's been hard to kind of build that relationship with some of these coaches where normally I would be. I'd love to, I've talked to Dom, like when I went on my Germany trip, Dom Mueller, about where I should go and hang out and all those sort of things. So I can't wait to be able to hang out with him a little bit more and things like that. And Coach Dawson and, everybody. So obviously I would like to actually do more of that. But and pretty soon we're coming and we're moving in the right direction. So we just need to all keep getting vaccinated and doing those sort of things, and we'll get there.
1-1 count here to Cole. Takes a strike, breaking ball for a strike. Is that something you've been with James Franklin at Vanderbilt and Penn State, and I read an article during the pandemic that he had a really good relationship with Tim Corbin, the Vanderbilt baseball coach. Is that something you learned from him a little bit as well?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it definitely is something to just continue to build a relationship and everything. But, ultimately, especially at a place like Old Dominion, we've all got to be on the same team. We've all got to be working in the same direction. Those relationships, developing those relationships is important, just like on our own team. So I think that's the main reason why is we've got to work in the same direction. Obviously, we've got some things we got to overcome, especially with COVID and those sort of things. So we're all on the same team. I think that's going to help it out.
Ryan Moore gets Cole out for the second out of the inning. Justin Conant, the batter.
Nice
Takes
pitch.
strike one. Coach, what do you think about Ryan Moore? He's more so far. He's been in trouble, but so far through 3 2/3, he's been getting out of it.
Well, I'm assuming he's named after my favorite baseball player of all time, Ryan Sandberg. So he's now my favorite player on this team. But he has battled So he is. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who obviously has a great ERA. He's been pitching well this season, but he has battled this entire day. I mean, he's been in trouble, but hasn't given in to the batters, even when he's been down 0-2 and excuse me, 2-0 and those sort of things. And so he's been doing awesome. He's got that breaking pitch working even on all counts right now.
Ryan Sandberg fan, does that mean, I assume, Cubs fan as well?
Yeah, when I grew up in Colorado, the Rockies didn't show up until I was 13 years old, so we had WGN the whole time. So obviously you watched a lot of games, and yeah, so I was a Cubs fan growing up. Even when the Rockies got there, that it was kind of two loves, I guess, as you'd say there. So, but yeah, I got to meet him one time. It was unbelievable.
Breaking ball stays down. Conant doesn't chase. Now, you and your family a lot of times take some trips over the summer to baseball parks. Obviously, that didn't happen this year. Do you have anything planned for this summer?
If we're allowed, we're gonna go to the Florida parks and try to get the Texas parks in too. But at least at the very minimum, the Florida ones.
This one grounded to Bell short. He makes the play. Nice
pick
by Matt Kootenai. And once again, Ryan Moore gets a runner on base, but gets out of it. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, still scoreless. Coach, you mind staying on us for one more half inning?
No, that'd be great.
All right, we'll be back just after this.
Download the ODU Sports 360 app to stay up to date with the latest games, highlights, and chances to win all year long. Go to your app store or Play Store now. Your attention, please. Now playing left field for Ball State. Number 7, Ryan Telfier. Ryan Telfier now playing left field for the Cardinals. Leading off the bottom of the fourth inning for the Monarchs, the left fielder Kyle Battle.
Bottom of the fourth inning. Old Dominion still looking for their first hit against Lucas Jacksich. Pleased to be joined here in this half inning by Old Dominion head football coach Ricky Rahne. Coach, the 2021 football schedule was announced about a month ago. Obviously, we got to get through spring practice and everything else. But what are your initial thoughts on the schedule?
I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I've studied it too much. I know, obviously, we open with Wake Forest, and that's about it. I'm so focused on spring practice and summer prep and all those sort of things. That's where our focus lies. And so we've just got to get better right now ourselves and not worry about our opponents.
Jacksich, 2-1 count to Battle. There's the first base hit for the Monarchs. Kyle Battle, leadoff single for ODU. Coach, one of the things that's been talked about a lot by our own Harry Minium and some other media outlets is you have the youngest coaching staff, especially youngest assistants in the country last year. Going to have to do a little bit of the numbers again. You've had a little bit of movement. But obviously that wasn't probably an intent for you, but something that just happened. But what were your initial thoughts from this first-year coaching staff?
Well, I thought it ended up helping us because, quite frankly, we needed to use technology to get in touch with these kids, our recruits, and all those sort of things, and we did a really nice job with it. Obviously, we've had to make some adjustments with our staff, but the adjustments we have made, I've been extremely pleased with and extremely happy about. I think we got some great guys.
You just added 2 coaches, Victor Arkansi and Fontel Mines. What can you tell us about those 2 guys?
Coach, brave by you to say his last name, by the way. Coach Vic is a great guy, taught by some people I really, really respect in this business. He has done a great job, ton of energy, very good evaluator, very good recruiter. And then, Coach Mines, guy who played, in Virginia, high school and college ball. He's recruited here a bunch. He's well respected by the high school coaches in this region. Everybody, was excited when we were able to get him. Our players have responded well to him, and just an unbelievable addition to the staff.
I tried to say Coach Vic's last name really fast.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it. That was impressive. I thought you were just going to roll with Coach Vic, which would have been good.
I talked to him, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and we went over it a couple times. So I did have I did a little bit of research on that one because I know that was going to be one that definitely they needed some help with, as Lavari swings and misses for the first out of the 4th inning for the Monarchs. Old Dominion, Kyle Battle led off this inning with a base hit. Old Dominion's first hit off Lucas Jaksic. Joined here in the 4th inning by Old Dominion head football coach Ricky Rahne. Coach, it's March 14th. You came from Penn State. I'm not sure what the weather is like today in Happy Valley, but I'm assuming it's not 57 and sunny.
Yeah, I mean, out here could be in shorts. I'm in jeans, although they're all ripped up, so that's probably a little helpful. But short sleeves. My son is in t-shirt and short sleeves, so yeah, you can't ask for this. This is why you come here. This is why this is such a great place to live, and you get all 4 seasons, but the winter season doesn't last real long. So it's beautiful out here today, and it's really helped us in our spring practice as well.
But one thing you talked about your son here and the family. One thing that the pandemic did lead to was a little bit more time than you're used to with the family. That had to be one of the bright spots of this pandemic for you.
Oh, yeah. I would say it was the bright spot, quite frankly. I mean, I got a lot more time with them. I've been able to watch a lot more of their athletic events. Today I was at, a lacrosse tryout, a basketball game, those sort of things. So it's been awesome in terms of that. I've been able to spend a lot of time with them. They're probably sick of me. It's been good.
They said you're sick of you a little bit with the NCAA's had the dead period for the longest time. Do you have any idea when they start to open that back up, when you guys can go back out on the road?
They're going to reevaluate it here come April 15th, so we'll get a reevaluation, but it won't be before May 31st. We won't be able to go back on the road, I wouldn't imagine. Come on, get through. Yes.
Base hit for Carter Trice, 2 on, 1 out for the Monarchs. Here in the 4th, their first real chance against Jaksic. And obviously, so once recruiting gets open, is it going to be kind of like the floodgates have opened once they let the coaching staffs go out on the road?
Well, I don't even know if the coaching staffs will necessarily be able to go back out on the road until September, but kids will be able to come on campus, which will be just, talk about the floodgates opening, that'll be that a little bit. So we're going to have to evaluate camps, visits, all those sort of things. It's going to be a little bit of play-it-by-ear type deal, so it's going to be interesting.
First pitch here to Garriola, down for a ball. Garriola, 4 home runs, 1 on Saturday. And you talked about your coaching staff being good with the technology and everything. It had to be crazy recruiting this fall and the summer and the fall, not being able to get these kids on campus, not being able to see a lot of them play high school football. What was that like for you and your staff?
It's been interesting. A couple of these local guys have come on campus for practice because they're allowed now because they've signed. And it was the first time I'd ever met them in person. And their parents in person. So it's kind of a crazy deal to know that, we've been working and recruiting these kids for over a year, signed them, and didn't know them.
And recruiting is obviously it's big relationships, and a lot of that is meeting those relationships in person, but you had to do that through phone, social media, all that stuff.
Yeah, we had to adjust, and I thought we did a really good job. But obviously it's always nice to
Garriola fouls that one out of play. Sorry, Coach.
No, it's fine. It's always been nice, to see somebody, look them in the eye, shake their hand, that sort of thing. So, but it's been great. We feel like we got a great class from last year, from this region, really, and we're still going to add a few more transfers and things like that here over the next couple months, but really like the direction the team's going right now.
2 balls and 2 strikes here to Andy Garriola, Monarch right fielder. Swing and a miss. Jacksitz gets him with the breaking pitch on that one. That'll bring up Lincoln Ransom, the designated hitter. Coach, a little quick story about Lincoln Ransom. In his second at-bat as a Monarch, there was a runner on second base, 2-2 count. It was a wild pitch that went to the backstop. Ransom ran to first, got it out in a rundown. The only problem was that it was ball 3. So the umpires called him out at second. They had to bring each other in to figure out what the count was, and Ransom had to come back to the plate. They put the runner on third, and all of that motion was for nothing. It was certainly an interesting play and something I've never seen before.
No, I mean, you go to enough baseball games, you're going to see things you haven't seen. In those baseball trips we went to, we were looking at, we saw a walk-off walk on one of them. That was interesting. There was also a game they played with 6 infielders for 6 of the outs.
Was that the Cubs?
Yeah, the Cubs. Yeah, it was nuts.
Joe Madden always trying the goofy tricks, I'm sure. Now with the Angels manager. What's been your favorite ballpark that you and your family have visited?
Well, I'm a Wrigley or a Fenway fan myself. Just the history of it and all those sort of things. My wife loves Citi Field.
That's the new Mets one, correct?
Yep. And my boys both like Comerica Park where the Tigers play, which it is a beautiful place. So there's a lot of great parks in this country. If anybody ever does that, I recommend it. It's a great way to teach your kids about, show them the rest of the country and those sort of things. They don't even know they're learning. We take them to museums and stuff. They don't even really realize what's going on because there's a baseball park later. Take them to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when we're in Cleveland and things like that. So it's been good.
Old Dominion head coach Ricky Rahne. Coach, really appreciate you taking the time and enjoying today's ball game.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Old Dominion and Ball State 0-0 as we head to the top of the 5th.